On Ice Hockey UK TV, in association with SMP Europe, I'm joined by the GB Under-20s coaching staff, all three of them ahead, of course, of the World Championship Division 2 Group A in Brasov, which gets underway tomorrow. Guys, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you taking your time out at what I'm sure is a really busy time. Martin, I'll start with you. Just now entering your final preparations, how are things going?
Yeah, they've been good, Chris. I think obviously we got here without any hitches. We've had a couple of games. Yes, last night was 2 periods rather than 3, with stuff that was out of our control, but we also managed to get some overtime, 3-on-3 preparation in there. We got a shootout in there. We've skated pretty well. The boys are upbeat. Everything seems positive. And, I guess now we're just really wanting to get started. We're itching to get going and open the tournament on Monday against Spain.
Danny, in your post-match comments last night, or the night before, should I say, you were talking about what you saw of the team. You like the power play. You like the fact that you'd scored 7 goals, if you include that overtime goal in the overtime period. Just what has impressed you most about this team in the practices so far, and of course in the games?
I think just the maturity of these players. It's great to see that they've been able to adapt so quickly to the environment. The fact that if you consider when we got here on the first day, that was our first training session together as a team, and I feel the maturity from the team has enabled us to kind of take the steps that we have, and I think it bodes well for the rest of the tournament. They're a really good bunch of kids, and they've come in with a professional attitude. Right from the start, we were told of all the rules and regulations with the COVID and stuff like that. They've adhered to that, and that says a lot about their attitude and their commitment to the team.
Have a word with you, Dayle, and I wonder about the captaincy team, and we'll touch on what you've done there. It's a great captaincy team. It's really strong, and of course, I'll go through each one individually, and if you can give kind of a bit of an overview, I guess. But Liam Stenton, you named captain a few days ago, and to complete the leadership team, Aaron Francis and Finley House, assistant captains, and vice captain Bradley Bowering. What sort of input and what will they bring to the team?
Well, we identified Aaron to have really strong leadership qualities back in June when we first got together for the identification camps that we held this year. We just really like the energy that he brings, the professionalism that he has. He's got a really good head on his shoulder. He's probably 4 or 5 years ahead of his time. He's just very composed, very poised. He asks a lot of good questions. So that for Aaron, it was a good, strong choice, one that we've been talking about for a long time. Finley Hills, we really like Finley. One of the comments that we've made is that how grateful he is to have made this team, and we have been watching a lot of these young guys since we got back from Lithuania 2 years ago. We just love what Finn brings every day. We love the fact that he's a normal guy. He's a plasterer during the day, plays for Telford at night. It's just very, very humble, but he's an extremely smart hockey player and a very well liked guy throughout the room. Bradley carries himself in a really, really professional manner. He's a very intelligent ice hockey player. He's doing good things for Slava and Peterborough just now, so we felt it was only right to add him to our leadership group.
And I think there was one more. Oh yeah, Liam, of course, who named captain a couple of days ago.
A player with extraordinary talent. He's a very mature young man. It's been great to see him come from being, a 16, 17-year-old in Lithuania to see how far he's progressed, and domestically and internationally. He carries himself like no other young man I've ever came across. I think he's got a very, very bright future ahead of him. And we're really, really lucky to have a player like Stents leading us moving forward.
Martin, correct me if I'm wrong. I think there's just a couple of players that have played under-20 World Championships for Great Britain. Liam and Alex, maybe. You correct me if there's more. But how weird is that you're going into a tournament with so little experience at this level?
Yeah, you're right. In Vilnius, the silver medal team, both Liam and Alex were part of that group. Under-18s, I think we've only had another two, and Lucas Brine and Bradley Bowring both played in Hungary. So, you know, it probably is a little bit difficult in terms of knowing what to expect when they got here. I think, as Danny touched on earlier, just not even just with COVID, but rules and regulations of IHF tournaments, timings, and things are obviously a lot stricter than what you would be used to at home on your normal game nights. So there's bits and bobs like that they're going to have to get used to. But knowing this group, they'll get used to that very, very quickly. On the flip side, I think it might be a good thing because, you know, they come here, they're free, they can be creative, they can just come and play. They don't have that little bit of being uptight, thinking, you know, they maybe didn't do so well or underachieved at a previous tournament. They're just coming here with almost zero expectation and, you know, of themselves, and just the high expectations now of our whole group, and they've bought into that. And you know, as a coaching staff, we're hoping that that's going to be a good thing and a positive thing for us. They have adapted extremely well to the surroundings already, and you know, like I said earlier, I think that they're now just ready to play. And we'll have one more skate tomorrow as the official arrival day, and they'll get into the tournament, and they'll start to see these little things, and we'll just go in there full of confidence. And I think regardless of whether they've played in a tournament or not, they're all playing at a high enough level to go in full of that confidence now.
Danny, what did you make of Spain the other night? They're an emerging nation. I think if we'd have talked 10 years ago, probably would have not thought that you'd be taking on Spain, but their men and women's programme has come on leaps and bounds in recent years. Where will their threats come, do you think, on Monday?
I mean, they skate extremely well, and I think, you know, possibly not. Most people don't recognise that for a lot of their players play in Europe as opposed to just playing in Spain. So what is not traditionally a powerhouse ice hockey nation, this is a nation that's on the up. From my understanding, there's a couple of £1 million or euros being put into that system, and they're getting tremendous support. And while recent history suggests that Spain isn't a particularly good hockey nation, I can assure you that they're going to be an up and coming nation. And so we play them again on Monday. I think we would all agree that they were the better team in the first 10 minutes. They do skate extremely fast. They are very, very intense. And I think the next thing, you know, between us coaches that we've been talking about and trying to get the message across to the players is that, you know, as the number 2 seed, a lot of people are, you know, they're going to raise their game for us. I think with our win over Lithuania and then obviously Spain, and you know, the other nations are here and they've heard about the results, and instantly that kind of gets people's attention. And so any nation that's looking to get a medal here, whether it be gold, silver or bronze, they will look at our game and go, well, if we can take some points off Great Britain, that puts us in a good stead for a medal. So we recognise that teams are going to be up for us. There's no doubt about that. But at the same time, we've earned that right, that the people respect us and recognise that we're potentially going to be a good team, and we have that belief in ourselves as well. That's the expectations we have for ourselves, and it's the first game of the tournament, which is always tough regardless who you play. But we'll be ready, and it's going to be a tough game. There's no doubt about it, and they all will. But you know, we feel good about ourselves, and at the end of the day, we can only think of how we play. And I feel, and I know the coaches do, we feel very confident that if we execute our game plan, then we should come out with a positive result.
Dayle, just funny to you. Oh, we've lost a coach. Maybe Martin's gone to bed. Maybe past his bedtime. But Dayle, what, when you start the tournament, I mean, what is the single most important thing that your players need to do this tournament if they're going to be successful?
I think it's with any team, it's buy into the, you know, the goal of performing well, buy into the systems that we want to play, but also buy into the, you know, the ideology of playing for your national team, how much of a great achievement that is. You know, Danny and Martin both played for the national team. I wasn't fortunate enough. I learned from an early age that I was a better coach than I was a player. And you know, even now, I'm very, very proud to be sitting in the position I'm in with the national team. So I think for us is having the ability for the players to make sure they're taking on as much information and asking as much questions as they possibly can. That's going to be the keys to our success. Every guy out there battling for one another, sticking to the systems that we want to go with.
Wonderful. We thought you'd gone to bed, Martin.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I thought one of these guys decided to kick me out on purpose, but maybe wanted to talk about me, but hey, I'm back.
Yeah, we should have talked about you while you were gone. Should have asked the boys how you were behaving. But listen, thank you very much, guys. I've taken enough of your time already. So listen, thanks for joining us, and best of luck, all of you and the team, for the tournament.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Chris. Bye-bye.